Hi everyone, Tiffany here from Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, and on this episode of Tiff's Tips videos, we're going to be going over how I made my Moon Man helmet from the game The Outer Worlds. As always, I first started off with reference images, getting some from in-game with the Moon Man helmet you can find, as well as using some of the posters as reference images. I then made a template for the helmet, and you can find this template available on my website at www.tiffanygordoncosplay.com. See the link below. Now let's first talk about how I made the hat. I first used 4mm EVA foam and cut out the three main sections of the hat, followed by the strip for the hat out of 2mm EVA foam. And then I heat treated each section using a heat gun. Afterwards, I applied contact cement glue to all of the edges and let fully dry before attaching each piece together. The last thing to do with the hat was to round all of the edges using a sanding drum. Now that the base hat was done, let's talk about how I made the head. I bought a 14-inch clear acrylic globe with a 5-inch hole at the bottom as my base for the head. Then, to get my template, I covered the globe in saran wrap and covered it in masking tape. As a reminder, if you get my template, then you do not have to do this process. To mark where the craters were on the moon, I used my template, cut out the circles, and then drew on where the circles laid on the globe using a Sharpie. I then used an Excel blade to cut out the circles from the masking tape saran wrap, and then traced on to the globe with Sharpie again. I then removed the masking tape saran wrap piece and cut out each of the circles using a hot knife. As a safety reminder, I recommend using a respirator as the fumes are really bad, and not to mention opening a window or using a vent. I then used the hot knife to cut out the bottom of the globe so my head would fit inside. Using my saran wrap masking tape patterns, I then transferred it over onto 4mm EVA foam and cut out. These pieces are also included in my template. Working only with the top sections of these pieces, I applied contact cement glue and let dry, and then I attached them together. And then attached the four main pieces together as well. To attach the foam piece to the clear acrylic globe, I applied contact cement glue to the very top section of the EVA foam, as well as one strip of contact cement glue down the back spine. I then attached the EVA foam to the globe. This process will help you to hold the foam in one place on the back, making it easier for you to stretch the foam around to attach to the opposite side. And then again, I applied contact cement glue and attached the final piece together. Now that the top section of the EVA foam was attached to the globe, it's now to start working on the bottom. I then applied contact cement glue to each of the pieces and attached them together. I did, however, leave 3 of the sections not attached at the very bottom, so that way my head could fit through. Now for the craters. I applied contact cement glue to the inside part of the globe and the EVA foam around the craters. This is to help lock them in place. Next, I used a heat gun to heat up the EVA foam where the craters were, and used a tool with a round head to push the EVA foam down. And then I attached my face template to the front of the globe, and used a silver Sharpie to trace out where all of my marks needed to go. I then used an Excel blade to lightly cut through the EVA foam where the mouth would be, followed by a heat gun to heat treat the EVA foam, and also to open up where I cut the mouthpiece. For the sunken eye look, I used a hot knife to burn the EVA foam away. Don't forget to wear your respirator. For the mouth, the eyes, and the eyebrows, I cut out 2mm EVA foam, and then attached them using contact cement glue. To make sure that I could breathe in this cosplay, I made sure to punch holes in each of the craters. Now for the fun part, to sand the entire piece, which took a very, very, very long time, and it was very messy. For the nose, I cut out 3 pieces of 4mm EVA foam, followed by 1 oval for the top part of the nose out of 8mm EVA foam, and glued all of the pieces together. I then rounded all of the pieces to create my nose using a sanding drum, and attached the nose to the face with contact cement glue. I then did a final heat treat of the entire piece using a heat gun, and filled any of the small and unwanted cracks and seams with Kwik Seal. To prime my hat and my helmet for painting, I used 4 coats of Plasti Dip and let dry. For the moon, I did a base coat of white primer spray paint. and then airbrush painted the moon different shades of tans and whites and grays, followed by airbrush painting the craters dark grays, and then airbrush painted black in all of the sunken eye pieces. I then added a pink rosy color to the nose and to the cheeks, followed by a blue to green gradient to look kind of like eyeshadow. Next, I had to hand paint everything. For the hat, I painted by hand with white acrylic paint the strap. And for the face, I hand painted the eyes and the mouth black and white. Once all of the paint was dry, I then sealed both the hat and the moon head with satin clear enamel spray paint. All that was left was to attach Velcro to the moon head and to the hat, and then my Moon Man helmet was done. I hope you enjoyed this tips video on how I created my Moon Man's helmet from the game The Outer Worlds. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe. Much love!